You'll be alright, 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 oh, okay, okay, I'll be okay, alright, 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 right,
Ayun. Good morning, everyone. Good morning,
Good
mga
morning,
kapetid.
good morning. Good morning, King. Good morning, Tita. At saka good morning sa lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon sa atin. Ang ating 6 million viewers and 1 million likes. Kapatid, 51 days to go na lang. Ano ba yun? Ang bilis na ng panahon.
Grabe. Parang kahapon lang, 52 days until Christmas. Ngayon, 51 na lang. Wow. Mind-blowing.
Grabe. At isipin mo to, Tristan, bukas, ilang araw na lang?
50?
Oo.
Parang nagtaka rin sina Weng, sina Sharon at saka sina Gilbert na nanonood ngayon. Nagtataka sila, ba't ang tagal?
Hey, good morning, good morning.
Parang ayaw ni Tristan dumating yung Pasko, ah.
Oo nga eh. Reluctant na.
Natapos kasi bigla yung taon eh.
Oo. Grabe, no? Can you imagine? Ang naging ano lang natin, ang naging taon lang normal lang natin was January, February, March. Diba?
2.5 months.
Grabe. The rest of the year, abnormal na siya. Wow.
Parang kapapasok ko pa lang sa missions pagkatapos work from home na lahat.
Oo nga. Correct. Hindi mo naman lang na-enjoy yung opisina mo eh. Di ba?
Nga eh.
Bago yung opisina mo. Sino ba mga kasama natin?
Yeah, let's say a good morning to Weng Florentino. Belated happy birthday nga pala sa'yo, Weng. She celebrated her birthday.
Belated happy birthday.
Wow.
Also, good morning to Sharon De La Cruz. Good morning.
Good morning,
Mga
Sharon.
mga early risers natin yan. And of course, kay Gilbert Buenavista. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Gilbert. Okay. Meron akong yung mga sponsors natin, kailangan natin batiin para dumagdag yung sponsorship natin.
Ayun.
Salamat muna tayo. Yan. Ginagawa ko, by the way, yung isa dyan. Okay, ang sponsors natin. Kape Tayo is brought to you by The Keg. Yun. The Keg. To go, Kylie Bakes, Oil MG Baking, Food Station Online.
Ayun. So may update pala ako dyan, ano? Tinry ko na yung Food Station Online na mantaw ba yung tawag rin? Yung bread. And I was going to steam it first. Kaya lang, nung nilabas ko na yung steamer, ganyan, sabi ko, masyado tong matrabaho hugasan after. Parang hindi ko kaya. Parang wala ako sa mood maghugas ngayon ng napakalaking steamer. Tatatlong mantaw lang naman yung lulutuin ko. So, ang ginawa ko, in-air fry ko yung mantaw. Ang sarap, mga kapetid.
Gano'n.
Ay, talaga?
Air
Wow.
fryer. Air fryer. So, it's frying without the oil. It's better pa rin kesa i-toast mo sa toaster kasi mas even yung pagluto niya. So, amazingly, okay siya. Hindi ko na na-picturean kasi gutom na ako. Merienda ko yun. But it goes well with condensed milk tapos kape. So, panalo. So,
Sandali.
I
Matanong ko lang, kasi two of you have an air fryer di ba? Ikaw, Tristan, meron ka rin air fryer.
Meron din.
And we keep talking about it. Is it really that good? I mean, yung kasi I wanna know dahil baka pwede akong bumili ng air fryer na lang for keg, for the keg. Kasi
it works for
we do a lot
several
of
food items. Like, kunyari kagabi, actually, si Prince kasi nag-request ng fish. So, in-air fry lang ni Mika yung fish for 15 minutes. Yung bangus na marinated. Tapos, as in, it looks like it was fried with oil. Oo.
Wow.
Siguro kasi di ba yung may counting oil din naman ng fish, di ba? So,
right.
it cooked it well. Parang nag-fry ka talaga sa sa frying pan. So,
Parang
15
siyang
minutes
bake.
tapos na.
Parang bake.
Kasi basically, it's parang siyang turbo broiler na maliit.
Okay. So, Tristan, ang sinasabi natin, naluluto siya sa sarili niyang mantika.
Ayun.
Yes. Literally. So, kung meron kang yempo sa bahay, kakagawa ka ng lechon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something worth investing in.
You can actually bake cookies there, bread, or something. Yeah.
Merong 7 liters na na air fryer para yung buong manok mismo malalagay mo na.
Wala, hindi ganun kalaki yung sa akin na air fryer kasi wala rin ako space. So ito si Sharon actually, meron din siyang air fryer. Sabi niya, yes, air fryer is the best. And si Sharon, mahilig talaga yan magluto, as in luluto ng kaldereta.
Yan.
Hindi na mo sa office, Sharon. Ang dami nang niluluto. Tsaka masarap talaga siya magluto. So, she knows what she's talking about pag sinabi na air fryer is the best. Okay. Pero for me, I find it na ang pinaka-okay sa kanya is yun, yung fish. Fish yung pinaka-okay na lutuin sa kanya. Di ba, which I said na I prefer over chicken. Actually, pag nag-fry ka ng chicken sa air fryer, hindi siya ganun kasaya. Parang you still have to put some oil, I guess, on it. Spray some oil before you cook it sa fryer. Pero pork chops, okay naman. Kahit yung some French fries, yun, you have to, kasi mato-toast siya pag walang oil yung fries. So, siguro kahit 1 tablespoon of oil, you mix it sa lalagyan, then you can air fry it. So, okay na siya. So, a little bit of oil para dun sa mga food na walang natural oils like pork or fish. Beef, okay rin na like, na-try ko palang
Samgyup.
Yung samgyupsal na beef. So, yun nga, dahil ang daming oil nun, diba? Kasi puro, yun. So, okay din siya. Yung slices na yun. You just have to, akong ginagawa ko, 5 minutes, para makikita ko. Kasi madiling masunog yun. Manipis kasi. So,
na-try ko na mag-toast ng corned beef.
Hindi ko pa na-try yung corn.
Masarap. Tapos sinalo ko sa carbonara.
Ayun.
Sarap.
Even reheating
pagkain naman eh.
Even reheating pizza, reheating bread, Basta yung mga ulam na walang sauce, it's good to reheat there na ano. So,
Wow,
there.
okay.
Air fryer is,
Grabe.
sabi ni Sharon, I agree, I bought it to fry fish. Sabi ni Boots, magandang umaga sa lahat, but is an air fryer easy to clean? Fairly enough, oo, easy to clean. Feeling ko mas madali pa siyang linisan kesa dun sa steamer that I have, no?
Or sa
Kasi di ba,
toaster.
kasi di ba pag yung
Mas
steamer,
mabilis pa sa toaster.
nanikit yung siomay or something, di ba ang hirap kakayurin mo pa. Ito mas madali siyang lutuin. Kasi even yung, kunyari, oil, di ba magdi-drip yung oil sa ilalim, mas madali siyang tanggalin kasi nga it's oil na, alam mo yan. Tapos, you don't put the food directly on it dun sa part na nalagyan ng oil. It has a catch,
Drain pan.
Oo So, kumbaga parang mas kampante ka na okay lang yun na. So, yeah, it's a good buy. And,
Oo.
of course, pag bibili ka ng air fryer, dapat yung okay na brand kasi may kakilala ako bumili ng air fryer, nag-fry siya ng fish. Tapos she ended up frying it sa pan kasi hindi siya happy dun sa pagkaka-fry. Sabi ko, yan ako ulit.
So what's a good brand, Tristan? What's a good brand to buy?
Brandless yung sa amin opposite nung K-King kasi nabili lang namin sa 11-11 last year but it still works. So, sulit na siya for 1 year's operation. Kasi halos araw-araw namin ginagamit yung air fryer
Pang
namin.
Okay.
So,
Oo.
ang tinignan lang namin basta 5 stars. At saka recommended
5
ni
stars. Ang
Tina
rating.
Montalban,
Ayun.
yung seller.
Ako kasi Philips yung air fryer ko. I
Air
think
fryer.
Philips is one of the first to have or sell air
Yes.
fryers. So, yun yung una ko nakita. So, okay to Then, I think someone recommended it as well. Kaya, doon ako bumagsak. Wala pa kasi nung mga generic nung time na yun.
Oo nga.
So, yun.
Yeah. Si Sharon talagang bilib na bilib sa air fryer. Yes, easy to clean. Talagang
Especially if you clean it agad. Minsan kasi hindi ko agad nalinis.
Mas
If you
peg ko
clean it
maglinis ng air fryer kaysa sa frying pan na may mga namuong mga crumbs nung sa chicken, sa fish. Mas mabilis siyang linisan.
But I'm just wondering. I'm assuming kasi all the air fryers that are sold now is for home use. As compared to my need kasi will be a little bit more industrial or heavy kitchen kasi kami. Kasi can you imagine if we can't clean until until maybe 2 hours, 3 hours after cooking kasi ano siya tuloy-tuloy ang our oven in keg is basically when we open. No, even before we open, it's already running until we close at about 11, 12. Yan, tuloy-tuloy pa yan. Diba? So, I'm wondering if there is an industrial air fryer para heavy duty siya. Kasi, feeling ko hindi kakayanin nung home use yung load ng fries alone. We sell so much nuggets. I mean, we fry nuggets. Chicken nuggets, we fry, what else do we fry? We fry a lot. We fry lumpia. Diba? We fry so many other things. But I see the benefit. I see the benefit na it's healthier because you don't use too much oil. It just uses the oil of the whatever ingredient has the oil in it. I'm just concerned about the industrial use of the air fryer. Sana may ganun.
Na-try mo na ba mag-fry ng lumpia ron?
Ako?
Tristan?
Oo.
Parang hindi siya as happy, no?
Hindi. Pero nung nag-take out ako nung lumpia sa dakeg, ayan, ininit ko sa air fryer.
panalo. Siyempre,
Oo.
dakig yun. I
Thank you
think yun
guys.
nga eh. Kasi, like yun nga, lumpia or cheese sticks or ano, parang you have to spray oil, some oil eh. Bago mo siya i-air fry kasi naturally, walang oil yung balat nun, di ba? So,
Mm.
susunugin niya lang siya na ano na
Mm.
toasty yung mangyayari, magiging ano. So ako, a few times that I used it sa air fryer, mas prefer pa rin namin nga yung with oil pag yung lumpia or cheese sticks, ganyan.
Yeah.
Hindi ko pa na-try actually yung, or hindi, na-try ko na rin yun, yung sprayan mo ng konting oil. Pero iba pa
Pag
rin yung luto nung deep fry pag ganong food.
nagiging
Yeah.
tinapay kasi yung ano eh, yung wrapper niya eh. Pero kapag
Nagiging,
reheat, okay yun.
kasi nga, nalagyan na siya ng oil eh, di ba?
Mm.
Nalagyan na
Yeah.
siya ng oil when it was fried the first time. So, yan. Sabi ni, ni Weng, Kiowa raw, okay. Na air fryer. Oo.
Okay.
Jillian naman, good morning po. Buti pa kayo may air fryer. Okay. So,
Nabiyayaan
Nakat
lang. Julia, nabiyayaan.
nabiyayaan lang, nabiyayaan.
Tsaka yung mga pambili ko ng cooking oil, pinag-ipon ko na, pinagsama-sama ko na. Kasi yun ang pinibili ko ng air fryer.
Magkano rin yung ano ng cooking oil, no? 100
Oo.
din kada liter. Good
Oo
morning
nga.
to Zar de Ramos. Good morning din kay Lex Reyes. Good safe from the storm day to all. God is so good. Oh, grabe yung storm, no? Akalain mo nung Monday. Sunday, it hit.
Mm.
Parang we all expected the worst talaga na mangyayari. But thank God, it's not as bad as people or even the news predicted it to be. 'Di ba? Yung mga experts predicted it to be. So,
And
thank God for that.
I think one good thing that the pandemic did for prep for the storm is people are more aware now.
Mm-mm.
Kasi yung pandemic hit us, blindsided tayo, hindi natin alam what we are dealing with.
Mm-mm.
So the prep for that was intense. Lockdown, mask, shield.
Mm-mm.
So ngayon na bagyo, mas alam na ng mga kapatid natin na kung paano maghanda para sa bagyo. Kasi at least ito, alam mo kung kailan darating. Alam mo kung nakikita mo yung paghahandaan mo. Hindi katulad ng pandemya, hindi natin alam. We didn't know what was coming towards us. We didn't know how to deal with it. So even when you watch the news during nung Sunday, kung mapapanood mo, people were prepared. Meaning they locked down their houses, they stored food. Nung Saturday nga kasi we had to buy some stuff for the keg.
Mm-mm.
Pila talaga. Punta kami sa SNR, hanggang labas yung pila. Punta kami ng Metro Supermarket dito sa BGC. Pila. Ang haba ng mga linya. Because people now were preparing, di ba? Parang, this is like the first part of the ECQ, remember that? Yung ang haba, yung may quarantine pass, one per family, yung mga husbands ang lumalabas para mamili ng grocery. Ganun kahahaba yung mga pila. So, meaning, may magandang na idulot yung pandemic because it helped us now prepare for events that we know are coming, like the storm. Nag-signal number 4 eh. Tama. Sa NCR, nag-signal number 4 tayo. So, it was like a mini epidemic. Kasi tayo lang yung tinamaan directly tayo at NCR. So, I think people were more prepared. They knew what to do. They hunkered down. Dito nga sa village namin, dati naman walang mga life rafts na ilalaba. Ngayon, for every major corner of the street, they set up a small, hindi naman gano'ng kalaki, but they set up a small rescue raft. Tapos may guard na nakasama nun. Kasi our village sits on five creeks under it. So, pag bumagyo ng matindi dito, may ibang bahagi ng village namin na binabaha talaga. Inaakit pa yung mga sasakyan to a higher street because lubog talaga yung mga kotse. So ngayon, gano'n na yung prepared na lahat. Pati yung mga kung may tarpaulin man, tinatanggal na nila and all. We secure the roof or whatever. Basta safety is always a primary concern now. And I think that's something that's good that the
Galing.
pandemic taught us.
Yung mga guard, no? Ready na silang hipan yung mga raft, no? Hihipan ng mga ano. Of course, no, sa atin, sa Metro Manila, NCR, hindi natin masyadong yun nga na naramdaman, no. Ang heavy hit talaga is yung Region 4, no. Region 4, Region 5, Calabarzon, no. And billions of infrastructure destroyed. So let's continue to pray for them and pray for the damage that was caused by Rolly. Grabe, no? Kung pangalan mo ngayon, Rolly, no? Parang every time
Isa ka ng bagyo.
every time maririnig mo yung news about it, no? Parang magugulat ka. Ako ba yun? So,
Sana wag maging bagyo yung mga pangalan natin.
Bagyong Tristan, humahagot.
Bagyong RD, parang sinani mo sa Rolly. Ano yan? Ang lakas ng dating.
Bagyong Tristan, parang nagkaroon na ata na. Wala pa bang Bagyong Tristan?
Wala pa.
Wala pa.
Wala pa naman sana. Kasi medyo unique mga pangalan natin eh. Di ba? Meron akong mabasahin dito. This is a good quote from Vertical Parallel. They posted this on Instagram. Ganda na sinabi dito. It matters what leaders do and don't do. Yun yung caption nila. It matters what leaders do and don't do. Then the quote was by Whitaker, Tom Whitaker. Sabi niya, the culture of the organization is shaped by the worst behavior the leader is willing to tolerate. Oh, galing, ano? The culture of the organization is shaped by the worst behavior the leader is willing to tolerate. Grabe, no? Ano masasabi? Todd Whitaker. Hindi pala Tom, Todd Whitaker. So, what can you say about that? That's an interesting talking point, no? The worst behavior, hindi the best behavior, pero the worst behavior the leader is willing to tolerate. Kaya yung caption nila, it matters what leaders do and don't do. Anong insight mo doon, Tristan? Ikaw mahilig magmuni-muni to si Tristan. Ano tingin mo sa gano'n?
Naalala ko lang yung pinapakinggan ko ng isang araw kay Patrick Lencioni. And then yung isang author na nabasa ko, the speed of the leader is always the speed of the organization. So, sabi ni Patrick Lencioni dun sa pinapakinggan ko, say for example, mining the conflict. If the leader is insecure about mining the conflict, kahit maliit na bagay, hindi niya ito-tolerate yung conflict kasi he would see it as an attempt to undermine him, his leadership, or the potential of the organization. But if the leader is insecure, kaya niyang i-absorb yung conflict. Yun, kaya niyang i-absorb yung conflict. So, tungkol dun sa sinabi mo, coach, yun nga, as leaders tayo, dapat willing tayo na mag-take ng risk pagdating sa mga ganitong bagay. Pero sa tingin ko lang, kailangan lang muna natin malaman kung ano yung essential para we know what to say no from and alam natin yung next steps. Kasi hindi naman din siyempre lahat ito tolerate mo. So parang yun lang yung nasa isip ko in light of that deep question at 8:28 in the morning.
Ay, nakamute ka, Coach.
Sayang, hindi
Nakamute ka,
namin
Coach.
naririnig na nakamute ka.
Nakamute. Coach, nakamute.
Sabi ko sinabi, wala pala narinig.
Oo.
What
It
was that?
matters kasi. It matters
Hindi
what you don't do.
mag-brood to go. Dapat mag-brood to
Oo.
go ka.
We
Tatlong
cannot-
bar.
Focus.
Smooth, jolt, at saka focus. Mamili
Hindi
ka na
namin
lang.
matolerate yung walang sound, coach.
Oo. It matters talaga what you don't do or do hindi mo na unmute kaya
Oo,
hindi ka
tama.
namin narinig.
Sorry po. Sorry naman. Hindi nyo matolerate yung gano'n. Ano ba to si Coach? Tagal-tagal. Tanda-tanda na eh. Mute lang, hindi pa magawa. Bad behavior. Salita ng salita. Naka-mute naman. Okay. Ikaw, King, ano masasabi mo doon? What the culture of an organization is shaped by what leaders, by the worst behavior leaders tolerate. Napaisip din yung mama.
Yeah, I agree kasi what you tolerate, you encourage Parang ganun yung datingan di ba? So kumbaga parang kung hinahayaan mo sila na gawin yung bagay na yun kahit na hindi siya dapat ginagawa, people will think that it's okay and people will do it, and some people who didn't do it before will emulate, gagayahin nila yung mga ganung bagay So actually napaka-important even in this pandemic, 'di ba? Kasi ngayon napakalakas ng kailangan mong self-control at self-discipline in this pandemic kasi even as a manager or as a leader in an organization, there's no one there in your house to check you kung anong ginagawa mo. So, syempre, kunyari, there's a meeting or there's something na hindi mo napuntahan kasi tulog ka or meron kang ginagawa or lumabas ka ng bahay, hindi mo So, people who didn't do it before, biglang, okay, pwede pala yun, Habang may pa-meeting si boss, pwede pala akong mag-rush bigla sa Starbucks para bumili ng video off lang ako, audio on lang ako ngayon. Pero sa Starbucks ka, bumibili kang kape mo or di ba, you do some errands and it will be hard to focus. Kaya kailangan natin ng brood to go. Okay.
Pa-deliver na lang.
Orderin mo na lang, di ba? Pa-deliver ka na lang online.
Orderin mo.
Kailangan mo.
Saka bayaran mo, ha?
Pero kung
wag mo antayin si Abby na magsabi, hindi.
i-bless ka, huwag ka magbayad. Nandito ba si Abby?
Pero ako, I do agree with that kasi especially now, I think we have to be very, very careful of the behavior of, first, our behavior. Kasi syempre, as the leader, we set the example, di ba? Influence nga, it's our influence that will also shape the culture of the organization. So whether good influence or bad influence, yan yung magiging kultura ng kumpanya. Diba? O ng organisasyon, ng simbahan, ng bahay, pamamahay, ng kumpanya. Dahil it's really up to us. Kasi what we tolerate naman is really just really a mirror of who we are. Diba? Meaning if you tolerate behavior like, you don't respect time, for example, that's bad behavior. You allow people to come in, your time in is certain time, kunwari 9 o'clock, but about sending out memos or or you're not very strict about calling out people when they come in late. They're perennially late. They're always late. You don't call them out. That's already bad behavior. All because it's a reflection also on the leader. Kasi siya, malamang sa hindi, late din siya parate. Di ba? Yung, if you tolerate laziness, okay lang, walang hassle, sige lang, you're just okay with whatever is there. That's probably because also of the leader. So I think we have to put a check on ourselves first. What is a bad behavior that we will not tolerate for ourselves? Because whatever we don't tolerate for ourselves, we will also not tolerate for others. Uh, so, ganun. For example, for us, kasi you always have to think about president or president, however you pronounce it. Whatever you tolerate kasi becomes a precedent for others to follow. So if you say yes to one of your employees or if your staff member, team members, if you say yes to one or if you tolerate the behavior of one, the others, yung sinasabi ni King, the others will just follow after. Kasi hindi mo na ngayon pwedeng sabihin ko kay King, King, mali yung ginawa mo, etc. etc. Tapos many, or I tolerate what King does and the Tristan does the same. I don't correct that behavior. Sabihin sa akin ni Tristan, bakit boss bakit kapitan si King nung nakaraan, okay lang sa kanya, hindi mo naman kinall out. Tapos ako kino-call out mo. Ngayon, may favoritism naman, di ba? So, ang daming sanga niyan, mga bad behaviors na yan. So, I think the first thing that we should do is check ourselves as the leader of our homes, as the leader of our families, as the leader of our companies, our organizations, and what are the things that we will tolerate and what are the things that we will not tolerate. And the things that we will not tolerate, pursue it with a passion. Alam mo yun, yung correct it with a passion. Yun yung babalik tayo sa 1-minute manager, di ba? There are 3 things. 1-minute goal setting, 1-minute praise, and then 1-minute reprimand or correction. Diba? So, doon bumabagsak siya sa 1-minute reprimand or correction that right away, if we see bad behavior, I think we should correct it. At saka kailangan, yeah, go ahead.
Iniisip ko din, Coach, not just parang bad behavior, but also yung parang habit forming. Napapansin ko, halimbawa, let's say with Elijah, yung anak ko. So pag nakikita ko, pag first instance, okay lang. Pero pag nakikita ko nagiging repeated, tapos iniisip ko, paano kung wala ako at mahulog siya, I cannot catch him. So dapat I need to teach him na dapat tama yung behavior niya. So minsan, pag nag-uusap kami ni Marge, laging pinag-uusapan namin, baka maging habit. So dapat i-correct na natin yung ginagawa niya. Example, halimbawa, umuupo siya sa office chair, yung office chair, umuupo siya, pero ang ginagawa niyang sandalan, against dun sa sandalan.
Oh.
So tinuturuan namin siyang sumandal doon sa rest. Ginagawa niya laging opposite. So pinuform namin yung habit. So parang ganoon. Ayan, naisip ko yung habang sinasabi mo, Coach, na bad behavior. Tapos inisip ko, pwede ring bad habits. Mga ganun. Dapat correct.
Correct. Agree. Totally agree. One more thing, if I may add, it has to be clear also to everybody. It has to be clear to everybody what bad behavior will not be tolerated. I remember that because in my team, when we took over, kasi syempre may ibang pamamalakad naman yung dating may-ari ng kumpanya namin. So when we took over, when we bought a company, it was under new management. So there were several things that we called out our staff for. And this pandemic, what this pandemic did was it gave us a reason, or it gave us an opportunity, not a reason, but it gave us an opportunity to start over. So we have a new employee handbook, we have a new application form. So they reapply. They go through the process. We have now orientation, and all, which the old owners did not have. Clearly, they didn't have because everybody was just doing their own thing. There were boundaries, there were turf, inside the store, be turf yan. Yung bar will be the bar, the kitchen will be the kitchen, uh, the service area will be the service area. Yung ganun sila, they don't work as a team, they work in silos. And so there were several things that we would call our staff members or our team members out. So I would tell my manager, say, oh, tell ganito ganon, etc. Kasi chain of command yan. So I wanted to establish that he is the leader. So I would tell them, or I could talk to this person, talk to that person, etc. I think one staff meeting, they just wanted to clarify. Sabi niya, sir, naintindihan namin na you have all good intentions for us. And they asked, sabi niya, sir, what are the things that we can and cannot do? Okay then, what are the things that we can and cannot do? As staff members, as ganito, as part of the keg, as we build the culture. So we laid it out for them. Oh, these are the things that we will look out for. Be friendly but not familiar. Be friendly with your with the customers and the guests, but don't be familiar. Meaning, if they're having a conversation, if they ask you one question, kasi magbabanter yung mga yan. Minsan yung guest nagbabanter with the servers. Ako, I do that when I'm out in a restaurant. I involve the waiter or our server in our conversation. Pero hanggang doon lang, kung ano yung tinanong sa'yo, sagutin mo lang. Pero wag ka na yung pag nag-uusap sila, mag-give ka pa ng input mo or mag-give ka pa ng opinion mo. Hindi na tama yun. Diba? So be friendly but not familiar. So we laid out for them every single thing. So now they know. So pag kinall out sila, maaring nakalimot lang sila. Kaya tumawid sila sa behavior na gano'n. Or sa, kumbaga, rules of engagement with the guest and the customer. So, number one, check ourselves as a leader. What are the behaviors that we will not tolerate for ourselves? Number two, make it plain and simple for everyone. Parang 10 Commandments, diba? It was plain and simple. Ito yung mga utos ng Panginoon na kailangan mong you need to live by. Anything out of that is already considered quote-unquote bad behavior or worse behavior. So may rules and regulations. And then once that's number two, laid out for them. Once those things or those rules are violated or the bad behavior is seen, you have to correct it right there and then. It's like children, exactly like children. Di ba? How do you train kids? Kailangan ganun din. Di ba? Titignan mo sa sarili mo bilang magulang. Ano ba yung hindi mo ito tolerate? Diba? Ano ba yung sinasabi sa Biblia na ito, pwede to, ito, hindi to pwede. Tapos, put it down. Simple for them to understand. Once it's violated, then you call them out and you give them discipline. And we have disciplined our staff. May mga discipline talaga. To a point na pagka sila nagkamali, sila na yung lumalapit sa amin. Boss, may incident kasi na nangyari. Yung ganon, we don't learn it from someone else. Whoever was involved, sila na yung mismong lumalapit. Which for me, I really appreciate because, it saves me the trouble of finding out from someone else and then knowing na irreparable na yung damage. But right away, when the incident happens, they come to us. They report to me right away. And because also I'm there. If not, they message me. So, but it is true that you have to lay it out for them clearly. Yeah. Ano? Natahimik kayo?
Tama.
Ang
Coaching.
galing. Nag-meditate.
Meditate. Magkape na kayo. Uy. May
Iniisip ko nga.
Ano?
Sige, sinasabi muna ni Zar. Kanina, iniisip ko, Coach, kung ano yung mga dapat itolerate at hindi itolerate. So, yan. So, it's a good reminder.
Yeah.
Basahin natin,
Okay.
sabi ni Zar.
Yeah.
Basahin
Ikaw
mo.
na, King.
Sabi ni Zar, it's just an observation. Some are not comfortable in confronting issues resulting to repeated behavior. Oo. Not
Meron pa sa
confrontational.
Zar. Hmm.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Madaming pwedeng sabihin regarding this, coach, no?
Oo. O, kayo muna. Sige.
Oh, sige. Yung ano kasi, di ba, yung parang as Filipinos, yung non-confrontational talaga, hindi mo yan makikita sa ibang bansa. Well, I don't know kung ano na, but kunyari, sa Western, like kunyari, I've been to the US, and alam mo yung konting lang, reklamo sila, konting may nagawa, especially kunyari sa service or whatever, iko-call out ka nila, meron lang sila nakitang something, kahit pagkain, sinosoli nila, kunyari, may mga kilala ko, nasa bahay na, nakain na, kunyari, kalahati ng cake, isosoli pa kasi dry. So, tapos, papalitan, yung gano'n. O kaya, kung ano man, they call out everything. So, kaya ang dami rin ng mga doon mga lawyers that specializes in damage or accident, yung mga, as in talaga ang lalaki ng mga billboard nila. And here in the Philippines, you won't see that. 'Di ba? Mga billboards ng lawyers about accident, magrereklamo ka dahil accident or may mga case, class action lawsuits. Walang mga ads dito sa Philippines na mga ganyan. I think basically it boils down to Filipinos in general are non confrontational. And isa yon, that's one thing that I can say about this na not comfortable in confronting issues. Tapos isa pa is yung for us as Filipinos, parang yun nga yung sinasabi ni coach na being friendly or 'di ba, but not familiar. Sa atin kasi blurred yung lines na yon, na dahil mabait ka sa office mate mo, co-worker man yan or boss mo or pababa, 'di ba, in that sort of work. Kumbaga parang for us, dahil friendly ka, friend mo na pag meron kang kinall out sa kanya, yung friendship niyo yung masisira or ma-affect, hindi yung work. Hindi yung work is work, friends. So, kumbaga, yun yung nakikita kong problem dito, which is the two things that I noticed. So, what about you guys? I'm sure marami kayong masasabi regarding this.
Yan, si Tristan, maraming masasabi. Kanina pa nagbubuli yan.
May habang nagsasalita si King kanina, may naalala kong isang incident regarding doon sa second point mo, coach. Inis na inis ako doon sa isang staff na meron kami dati. And then pinuntahan namin yung HR namin. Tapos sabi ko sa kanya, naiinis ako doon sa staff. Ang sabi niya sa akin, na-clarify mo ba kung ano yung expectation mo? Na-verbalize mo ba sa kanya? Then it dawned on me na hindi pala siya clear at saka hindi pala siya verbalized. So dapat in light of tolerating or kung ano yung ma-tolerate, hindi ma-tolerate, it should be verbalized, clarified, and articulated dun sa tao. Otherwise, ikaw lang yung frustrated pero yung tao, baka feeling niya, check yung box niya. Which is yun yung nangyayari, check yung box niya pero hindi pala yun yung expectation. So, I learned a lesson from there. And maganda na na-remind mo din, Coach, na we should clarify, verbalize, and articulate what we can tolerate and cannot tolerate. So, yun. Yung mga nanonood kaya sa atin, yung mga 10 million, ano kaya yung mga matotolerate ninyo at saka hindi nyo matotolerate? Yan, sa work or sa bahay, yan, sa organization.
That's a good question.
Yan.
I think for Czar, while it's true that we are not confrontational, as a culture, bilang mga Pinoy, hindi tayo confrontational masyado. Will you risk not being confrontational for damage done by bad behavior in the organization? That's one question I think that we should ask. Kasi hindi ako confrontational so hindi ko nalalapitan siya or hindi ko nakakausapin siya. When clearly you've stated to them, everybody, what you will and will not tolerate. But when the intolerable happens and we don't correct that behavior, remember that's going to lead to something bigger later. For example, just a clear example of, and let me use again the restaurant business because it's easy to understand. Yung kunwari, you trust your cashier, diba? You trust the cashier, you tell them already what you want and you don't want in the organization. Kung willing yan kung willing yan magsubok na, or even food, ito na lang, food, yung tinatawag na spoilage and pilferage. If the team will pilfer a little bit, and when I say pilfer, pag nanakaw yan pilferage is, di ba, you take food items, raw materials out of the kitchen for your own. So that can go in different forms. They don't have to take it out of a restaurant, but they can already take it into their body while they're cooking. Alam mo yun, that's also another form of pilferage. Meaning, you promise the customer 100 grams of whatever food. So habang niluluto, matikman ko nga isa. Pag willing yung taong yun, yung cook mo na tumikim ng isa or kumuha ng isa, what will prevent that person, if you don't correct it, what will prevent that person from taking 2 more pieces, 3 more pieces, and then eventually wrapping raw materials, putting it in the garbage bag, wrapping it tightly, throwing it in the trash bin, and then later on, after the shift, going out, getting it from the trash, and then moving forward. It's going to create bigger damage, all because we're non-confrontational. So, true, what King was saying, totoo yan, sa ibang bansa, it's all professional. Walang personalan yan. Kaya tama rin yung ni-refer ni na Tristan at King na, don't blur the line between being friendly and familiar. Draw the line. Na if I call you out, it's not because I have something against our friendship or I have something against you as a person. No, I'm drawing the line and I'm calling you out because there is something professionally or something at work that happened, and it happened to be you involved in it. So it's not the person, it's the performance of the duty or non-performance of the duty. And you have to confront. I don't, sorry, but I really don't agree with that. We're not confrontational, we're not. Yeah, true, we're not. But we should change that. That's the very first thing that we should change. Because it's gonna cause bigger damage to your organization. Kasi sabi nga lang, di ba? The culture of an organization is determined by what the worst behavior that the leader tolerates. So if we're not confrontational, okay, imagine that's just one department. Kusina pa lang yan. Ano pa kaya sa finance? Ano pa kaya sa sa bar? Ano pa kaya sa ganito? So if you don't tolerate it for one, if you tolerate it for one bad behavior, you will tolerate it for all other departments. And you will find out later on that you're going to be losing a lot of money. You're going to be losing a lot of productivity. Diba? Andiyan na yung binatog sa amin. Sorry kung narinig niyo yung...
Yung pala yan.
Mamaya yung nagbebenta ng isda sa amin, nandyan na.
Sa amin taho. Pero parang wala pa ata si taho.
I hope our 8 million viewers, it's not a comfortable discussion, but it has to be talked about. Kasi, I always hear that. I always hear that in all the organizations. If they don't report to a if they're not a BPO and they report to the US or they report to other countries, these organizations know how to confront. They know how to resolve conflict. That's what you call constructive conflict. Constructive conflict kasi is addressing the conflict, addressing the problem, addressing the bad behavior, so that you can come up with better solutions and cut the bad behavior and create new behaviors, new positive behaviors. With the local companies that I work with, kahit malalaki sila, maraming ganyan pa rin. Bayan mo na. Ano lang naman yan eh. Ganyan lang naman yan. Huwag mo na, ano na. Bayan mo na, magbabago din yan. Hindi magbabago yan, maniwala. Hindi magbabago yan.
May question ako, Coach.
Yeah.
Maybe baka pwede mo kaming bigyan ng practical tip yan. Kasi minsan, ang takot ng tao to confront the situation is that the performance is associated with the performer. Diba?
Yeah.
Sometimes kasi dapat performance lang yung kinokorek. Pero minsan kasi personalize masyado ni leader. So paano ba yung mga tips para para lang magawa ng tama yung confrontation? Meron po ba kayong mga pwedeng masuggest for leaders?
Meron. Pwede. So, one is, of course, make everything plain and clear to everyone. So, meaning, if this is plain and clear to everyone, I should be the one holding the highest standard for that. So, if I don't tolerate tardiness, I should be in the store early. And ako, flexi time ako. I can go to the store anytime. But I'm there even when there's no customer. Sometimes I'm there even before my first employee comes or arrives. Yung magbubukas ng tindahan. Because I have to set the example. What I will not tolerate for others, I have to be the highest standard for that. So which means it has to be a lifestyle to me. It has to be real to me. And then number two, once those standards are not met, you have to talk to them. Pull them aside. Talk to them one-on-one. Talk to them properly. Tell them, yun yung praise the performer because the performer needs praise. Criticize the performance because the performance needs criticism. That's Ken Blanchard, 1 Minute Manager. Praise the performer because the performer will need praise. Criticize the performance because the performance needs criticism. That's how you differentiate your being a friend or a co-worker or a colleague to them than being the boss. Kasi you're really taking out the performance part of that. You're really dealing with the performance more than the performance. And then the restoration part is important. After you've dealt with them, after you've talked to them, after you've just make sure that they understand the reason why you're doing it is for their growth, number one, and so that they can perform their job well, and the organization will benefit from their contribution. But I think we always have to come to a point where, while we confront people, after the confrontation of the person, they feel that they're still valued in the organizations because they are valued. That's why you hire them in the first place, because of their value, the value that they can contribute to the organization. So it's really all professional. It shouldn't be personal. While I call them family, I call my team members, you're already part of this family because we're a family corporation. But in my family, there are also certain disciplines. May mga disiplina yan na pagka na-violate yung mga yan, it has called out. It has to be, there has to be discipline that will be. And I explain that to them. Sometimes it will cost financial discipline. Pagbabayaran nila yun. Pero they understand, they appreciate it. At least they know. So don't be afraid to confront. Don't be afraid to tell people. As long as you know that you set the example, it's clear to everybody what you expect of them, the good behavior that they expect and the bad behavior that you don't want to see. Then you confront. Tell them about it. Plain and simple. Hindi naman kailangan mahirap pang gawin yan. So those are some of the tips. One, check yourself first. Ikaw muna. It starts with you. Everything rises and falls in leadership. Number two, set the expectation. What is clear to everybody. And when those expectations are not met, then you confront. You confront everybody. And you have to be clear. Pag nag-confront ka, talagang seryoso ka. Hindi, paminsan kasi gusto natin parati light yung mood. So we kind of kid around at some point. No, when you discipline people, you tell them straight. You guys know that. Marami na tayong pinagdaanan na ganyan, di ba na, kapatid, hindi yata tama yung ganito, hindi yata tama yung ganito. So, we go through that. We go through all of that. And it's all for the best, all for the best. It's never to put anyone down, but it's always to build people up. That's, I think, that's what you call constructive conflict. When you want to confront people to resolve a conflict so that they can become better over time. And they tend to become a blessing to the organization. And you know what? When you do that, they'll thank you for it. They'll thank you for it. Sabi niya, salamat na pinagsabihan mo kami kasi hindi naman namin malalaman kung hindi mo sinabi o kung hindi mo kami kinausap. And there are those who are in the organization who really won't confront him. Talagang they don't have it in them to confront. But I have to teach people, you have to be the one to tell them because I can't be the one to always pick up the sleep. Ikaw kailangan gumawa niyan. Ikaw kumausap dyan, ikaw magsabi dyan. Kasi you're teaching them leadership. You're teaching people also leadership. When you ask people to confront, when they're not confrontational by nature or by culture. Yun lang ang mapapayo ko, mga kapatid, sa lahat ng sinabi natin. Sino ba ito sa nagno-notes na, oh?
Oo. Nagsusulat na ako eh.
Hindi ka estudyante, host ka dito.
Nagno-note. Sayang naman, di ba? Nandito na
Sayang
ako.
Naging viewer eh.
Kaya pala nagtanong ng tips kasi issue pala niya yun.
I
Kailangan
cannot
niya.
tolerate without writing it. So,
You cannot tolerate it.
Oo.
Ano
Pero
sinasabi
tolerate myself.
natin, King?
Bago ko basahin yung mga sinasabi ng taong bayan, parang napansin nyo rin, yes, Filipinos are non-confrontational, ganyan. Pero sa social media, yung mga tao reklamo ng reklamo. Do you think they are the same people na don't speak up? Hindi ko sure eh. Feeling ko yung iba, oo, yung iba, hindi. I think it's a mix, no? So, naisip ko lang kanina, nga, non-confrontational. Pero pag pumunta ka sa Facebook, ang dami-dami nagre-reklamo, diba? So, yeah. Mahilig sa mga blind item, no?
Pagka hindi ka confrontational kasi, there's gonna be a meeting after the meeting. Alam mo yun, nag-meeting kayo, you don't call out certain things that you don't call out bad behavior in a meeting. Ako, I do that in staff meetings. I call out talaga. Mali yan, hindi natin dapat ginagawa yan. Pag hindi mo ginawa yun, guess what? Magkakaroon ng meeting after the meeting. What's the meeting after the meeting? Pag, okay, dismiss. Grabe naman, boss. You don't want that in your organization. Kasi what's to tell that they're talking to other people about you? Diba? So, maigi nang magkaharapan na tayo. Tell me what you think. And after I confront, I always ask them, well, how do you guys feel? Is there anyone that got hurt by what I said? I'll also be the first to apologize if you got hurt. But it has to be said. You know what I'm saying? It has to be said. Kailangan sabihin eh. Kung nasaktan ka, okay, malamang sa hindi, tama yung sinasabi ko. Na kaya ka nasaktan kasi, tinamaan ka eh, di ba?
Mm.
So, but I'll apologize if you got hurt. I'm sorry, but it has to be addressed. It has to be
Yeah.
it has to be said. It has to be surfaced
Mm.
so that we can become better. It's all for the best. That I think that's the mindset. All for the best.
Oo.
You
Maganda yun.
reward good behavior and you discipline bad behavior.
Yeah.
That's the key takeaway here.
Oo.
You reward good behavior. Ayan, nag-notes na naman yung mama, oh. You reward good behavior. You discipline bad behavior.
Mm.
So that you have less and less of it.
Yeah. Correct.
Kasi-
Correct. Parang sa bata din, di ba? Ganun yung sa bata.
Yep, exactly.
Reward mo pag okay yung ginawa niya. Pag hindi, ay, nako. Hindi yun dapat. Oo.
Oh.
Mm.
Ano sinasabi ng mga natin, madlang people?
Madaming sinasabi ang madlang people natin. Pero isa sa natutunan ko rin or na reinforce, I guess, is yung when you're confronting someone, hindi yung kailangan talaga i-steer away mo yung discussion sa attacking yung character ng tao eh.
Yes.
Kung ano lang yung ginawa niya or hindi niya ginawa, yun yung pupunahin natin. Yun yung itatry nating i-correct. Hindi yung tamad-tamad mo kasi, patugan
Yes.
ka, hindi ka marunong, yung kumakawa. Wala kang alam, huwag ganon. Wala tayong
Walang ginawang tama.
Oo, huwag tayo dun sa name calling. Kung ano lang. So, I guess it's the same way. If they do good, sabihin mo, uy, okay tong ginawa mo na to when you talk to this customer and then explain kung ano yung ganito. And actually, that customer went to me, asked me to commend you or ano, ganyan. Kasi ang galing daw ng ginawa mo. Something like that. And in the same way, kung ano yung nagawa ng kamalian, yun lang, di ba? Kapatid, or kung ano man ang tawag natin, meron tayong ginawa dito. Parang hindi okay,
Yeah.
parang hindi ito yung standard na napag-usapan natin, or alam kong alam mo to kasi ito yung, hindi mo naman to ginawa before. Yung kumbaga yun yung behavior, yung yung ginawa, yung action na involved, hindi yung
Grabe, ganda ng discussion natin.
Napakaganda.
Oo.
Sabi nga ni Divo, enjoying this talk.
I agree. Good morning. Hope everybody's well at FOPM. Yung send my regards to everyone.
Ayan, sabi ni Weng, they can also discuss this in their pre-shift. Ito yun, yung mga dapat na gawin. Okay? Sabi ni Boots, damage control is more energy consuming and costly than on-the-spot correction of bad behavior. Kasi nga lalaki or magkakaroon ng multiple instances kesa sa isa lang, dumami na. Okay? Naging culture na, naging talaga, na ingrained na okay lang ganyan. So, ito kanina pa to, pero yan, pilferage, common in the restaurant, but if you let them know how many servings you can make in 1 kilo, they will be aware of it. Oo. Yan. Ito naman, ito yung sa point 1 mo. So, do I coach? Respect the time. Okay. And Cesar, totally agree, RD. Nice discussion. Have to go. Bye. And kasi nag-9 na.
Agree
Ay,
na.
2-7 na.
Tuloy na lang natin next Wednesday, next Friday, next week.
Masyado na naman tayong nag-enjoy sa ating discussion.
9:07 na mga kapatid.
Oo, we have a meeting.
Alam na tayo. At kailangan magtrabaho. Kasi hindi
Sabi
magtrabaho yan, bad behavior yan.
Sabi natin, dapat on time, respect the time, tapos tayo yung cause ng pagkalit nila. Baka
Our
naman kasi
apologies.
flexi rin sila, di ba?
Flexi rin. Nandiyan pa rin sila.
Para dun sa mga flexi time, thank you for listening to us. Hanggang ngayon. And of course, discussions like these about time management or kung ano man, confrontation or work-related, business-related, or minsan kahit para sa bata, no? Even in raising a child, para you can use this These are discussions that come up, yes, in Kape Tayo, but also during our practical leadership, which airs, Nax airs talaga, every second and fourth Tuesday. Ayan. So, 7 p.m. 8 p.m. pala. 8 p.m. Mali pa yung oras. 8 p.m. Ayan. So, hope to catch you there. Mas
Yep.
matagalang discussion yon about things that can help you in at work and even in home life. Okay, so hope to see you guys there as well. Yeah.
So I'd like, before we go, I'd just like to thank Vertical Parallel, Luis and Jenny Magalong for their quotes and their words of inspiration on FB and on Instagram. You can follow them on IG. Uh, Very strong couple in terms of learning and development. All They have a very good heart to help see people in organizations grow in their careers and add value to the organization. So thank you so much for that wonderful quote. It fueled our discussion for this morning at Kapitayo. And to everybody that watched, all 8 million viewers of ours and 11 million likes, hearts, and laugh emojis. Thank you so much for always tuning in. Please share this video with others so that they may benefit as well. Invite others to watch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:05 a.m. here at Kapitayo. Guys, paalam na kayo.
Okay, again, thank you so much for being with us. At kape tayo sa mga ano natin, early birds, early risers natin. Before 8 o'clock, gising na kayo at nakapagkape na. Thank you so much for being with us. Again, stay safe, keep healthy. And thank you again to our sponsors. Again, Kape Tayo is brought to you by The Keg. The Keg, Brewed to Go, Kylie Bakes, Oil MG, Baking, and Food Station Online. Bye!
Ayan, ako ba next? Okay, see you guys. What we tolerate, we cannot change. See you Friday. Bye-bye.